Hello, welcome to an e-demo on the image settings of an Illustra Flex camera. First thing I'm going to do here is open up a web browser and I'm going to navigate to the IP address of my Illustra Flex camera. And when I'm prompted, I'm going to log in as an admin user. Once I'm logged in, I'm going to be presented with the image parameters menu, and it's in here that we can configure those image and video settings. So if we move over to the right hand side, you will see we have a number of options for the streams. Illustra Flex cameras use profiles for streams, and we can switch between the profiles just by selecting which profile we want to be currently using in the current profile drop down, and then choosing the save button underneath to switch over to that profile. And we can edit the settings for each of those profiles by moving down to this edit profile drop down and just selecting the profile we want to edit. Once we've selected the profile, we can go ahead and configure its settings. So you'll see, first of all, we have some options for the various streams. We have resolution and we have codec options. And then underneath, we have the video settings for each of those streams. So you can see for stream 1 here, we have frame rate, we have GOP length, and both of those are sliders. And then we have the rate control settings, so we can choose either constant or variable bitrate. If we choose variable, we have the maximum and the minimum, again sliders, and if we have constant, we can set the constant bitrate using a slider as well. We can also configure then some settings for the additional streams. So you can see we have frame rate, and we have quality for streams 2 and 3 here. Whenever we're happy with those settings, we can just choose the Save Profile button at the bottom to update those settings for that profile. Okay, so moving on then to the next submenu under Image Parameters, and that is Exposure. And there's a few options in here where we can set, first of all, the exposure mode. So we can choose Auto or Manual. And there's various settings there for each of those. So if we're in auto, we can choose the type, we can choose the shutter speed, and we can set the maximum gain using the slider there. And if we're in manual again, we can set the shutter speed and the manual gain this time. And if we move down then, there are some miscellaneous exposure settings underneath. So we have the EV adjustment, we have day-night mode, we have a noise reduction setting, and we have BLC and wide dynamic range as well. We also have a reset to defaults button there, so you can always revert back to the factory settings for the exposure. If we move on then to the white balance menu, you'll see we can either choose to set white balance automatically or manually, and if I choose manual, I can use these sliders and you'll see that the image over on the left hand side updates as I'm making those changes, and if I go back to auto, you'll see that it updates as well. I can also set some basic color settings, so you can see I have brightness, contrast, hue, saturation and sharpness sliders, and then I have gamma correction, and I can also flip and mirror the image itself, and again that image on the left hand side is going to update in real time so I can see what the changes are doing to the actual stream. And then finally we have privacy zone, and I can set up 8 privacy zones on this camera, and a privacy zone just allows us to mask a particular area of the scene which may contain sensitive information. So what we can do first of all is we can set the color of that privacy zone, so it can be black, grey or white, and then we can toggle each of the privacy zones on or off. So if I just toggle on number 1, then what I can do is draw the privacy zone on the scene itself, and I can choose Save Mask Zone, and you'll see that that has created a black area of the scene. I can toggle that on and off using these radio buttons, and what I can also do is remove it by choosing Clean Mask Zone.